Stop. Do not scroll past this. Chosen one, you did not stumble upon this video by accident or by the random push of an algorithm. I know the exact heaviness you have been feeling behind your eyes, that silent exhaustion that makes you want to lie down and surrender, even when you haven't done anything physically tiring. You have spent years asking God why He left you in the dark, why others advance while you are kept hidden in the shadows. Do not leave before this video ends, because I am about to show you exactly what He was hiding. And walking away now means missing the revelation that explains your entire season of pain. You have been carrying a weight that no one around you seems to understand. You feel forgotten, completely isolated and utterly exhausted by a long period of waiting with no visible progress. In your quietest moments, a thought has been haunting you. The fear that you have wasted your best years, that you have somehow failed God, or that you have entirely missed your true calling. You jolt awake exactly at 3:00 a.m., staring at the ceiling in a quiet room, feeling a heavy pressure on your chest, but having no words to pray. All that leaves your lips is a deep sigh you cannot explain. You assume it is just another night of insomnia, another wave of anxiety crashing over you in the silence. You look at your life like a seed buried under frozen soil in the dead of winter, convinced that nothing is happening, that you have been buried and forgotten beneath the dirt. But there is a violent transformation occurring in the dark. Every time you cried in the dark, thinking no one saw you. Every time you questioned if you had taken the wrong path. Every time you watched someone else receive the blessing you prayed for. Every time you felt a deep, unexplainable ache in your spirit. Every time you whispered to God, asking if He had forgotten your name. Before this message ends, you will discover the exact reason why your most desperate prayers seem to bounce off the ceiling for the past few years. You will identify the specific spiritual obstacle that has been masking itself as depression or bad luck to keep you stuck. You will understand the 3 layers of the secret God was intentionally protecting within your spirit. You will learn how to activate the very calling you thought you had lost forever. And before this message closes, I will declare the exact moment your season of hiding officially ends. Have you ever felt that heavy, stagnant weight anchoring your soul down when you try to step forward, feeling like an invisible rope is pulling you back into the shadows? And what if that cold voice whispering that you are destined to remain stuck and forgotten exactly where you are is not your own thought? What if this feeling of being stuck is not just emotional exhaustion, but the evidence of spiritual obstacles actively blocking your exit from the cave? Because while many treat this heavy stagnation as just a tough season, very few realize that there are hidden spiritual blockages draining your peace, paralyzing your progress, and keeping your faith in a chokehold. Now think with me. Why do I desire so deeply to step into my calling, but continue to remain in this exhausting stagnation? And what if every prayer that feels like it hits a bronze ceiling, every opportunity that mysteriously slips through your fingers, and every morning you wake up feeling spiritually drained before the day even begins, are actually signs of barriers you haven't identified yet? It was while searching for answers to this that this digital book was born, called The 27 Spiritual Obstacles That Weaken Your Walk with God. This book is not just a reading, it is an awakening designed for those who want to recognize the exact blockages that are keeping you hidden in the dark. Break the invisible chains paralyzing your spiritual progress and fully activate the authority you have been carrying in silence. And you will do this without the constant heavy guilt, without second-guessing your calling, and without accepting this exhausting stagnation as your final destination. Many already feel they need to return to God with more strength, but haven't yet made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But beware, there are few copies left of this digital book. Do not wait for another year to pass by in the shadows before you finally decide to clear the path. Click now, download your copy, and discover why spiritual desubstruction is exactly what you need to reignite your faith, strengthen your intimacy with God, and live the spiritual transformation your soul is looking for. Before I hand you what the Father gave me for you today, I have a very quick request to make of you, chosen one. If these words have been a shield for your life, if they have kept you standing in these difficult days, and if in your heart you feel the desire to help keep this channel alive and want to give back a little of what you received, There is an open voluntary donation link in the first pinned comment right below the book. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any amount that your heart points to, this is what keeps this channel standing. This is what makes the next word reach another chosen one tomorrow, exactly as it reached you today. I am waiting for you there, chosen one. But I haven't even told you the most important part yet. Wherever you are right now, lower the volume of the world for just 2 minutes. Put down whatever is distracting you and listen to me closely. What comes next is not just another piece of religious information to add to your timeline. It is recognition. Your spirit is about to identify the exact coordinates of what you have been experiencing in the shadows. I am going to describe 4 specific signs, and as I walk through them, you will realize that you have not been going crazy. You jolt awake exactly at 3:00 a.m., staring at the ceiling in a quiet room. You feel a heavy pressure on your chest, but you have no words to pray. All that leaves your lips is a deep sigh you cannot explain. You called it a random wave of anxiety or a painful rejection, but heaven called it a divine rescue. That is not insomnia. It is your spirit trying to translate a frequency you haven't learned to speak yet. You look at yourself in the bathroom mirror under the harsh fluorescent light, washing your face, and for a split second you don't recognize the person looking back. You feel completely detached from your own life. You called it being forgotten by the world, but heaven called it being hidden for preservation. That is not dissociation. It is the old version of you dying off to make room for the new mantle God is placing on your shoulders. You are sitting in a room full of people, maybe even at church or a family dinner, and you suddenly feel completely invisible. It is as if you are enclosed in a soundproof glass box while everyone else is laughing and moving forward. You called it wasted time, but heaven called it the necessary gestation of your spirit. That is not depression. It is God placing a temporary veil over you so the enemy cannot track your coordinates. You are driving your car alone, hands gripping the steering wheel tightly, and out of nowhere hot tears start streaming down your face without any specific thought triggering them. You wipe them away, confused by your own grief. You called it an unanswered prayer, but heaven called it an obstacle being silently removed. That is not an emotional breakdown. It is the Holy Spirit washing away the residual poison of the years you spent hiding. These are not coincidences, chosen one. The isolation, the tears, the silence, they were all part of a highly calculated spiritual protocol. Every single thing you have been experiencing is about to make complete sense, because the revelation I am about to deliver will recontextualize every tear you shed in the dark. If any of these signs landed in your spirit, I want you to write, "My time has come," right down below, not just as a comment, but as your hand physically signing the decree that your spirit has already recognized. You thought you were buried under that frozen soil, suffocating in the dark. But you were never buried, you were planted, and what you thought was the heavy weight of dirt crushing, you was actually the pressure required to forge the weapon you are about to become. I have 2 things to hand to you right now. One is the precise understanding of why you were hidden, and the revelation of those layers is coming in just a moment. The other is the exact tool to break you out of the stagnation you are feeling right now before we even get to the revelation. Because knowing the secret without having the key to walk out of the cave will only frustrate your spirit. Stay with me, because what I am placing in your hands next is the literal key to your freedom. Stay with me. And it is exactly this path that I hand to you now before the name. You just felt those 4 signs resonate deep within your spirit, but what if they are not just symptoms of emotional burnout, but the exact diagnosis of a targeted spiritual attack? Have you been feeling those crushing, invisible chains locking your feet in place whenever you try to advance, making you feel entirely trapped in the dark cave of your own mind? And what if that icy whisper trying to convince you that this isolation is your permanent address, that you have been entirely forgotten by heaven, is actually not your own voice? Could it be that what you have labeled as a season of deep depression, bad luck, or personal failure is in reality a set of calculated spiritual barricades intentionally keeping you paralyzed and separated from your true identity? While the crowd tells you to just push through the exhaustion, have you considered that there are unseen strongholds silently suffocating your spiritual growth, draining your daily peace, and actively masking the disruptive authority you carry? Is it possible that every unexplainable tear you shed in the silence of your car, every sudden wave of detachment you feel staring into the bathroom mirror, and every single night you jolt awake at 3:00 a.m. with a suffocating pressure on your chest, are actually the precise coordinates of the barriers keeping you in the shadows? It was while searching for answers to this that this digital book was born, called The 27 Spiritual Obstacles That Weaken Your Walk with God. This book is not just a reading, it is an awakening designed for those who want to recognize the exact blockages that are keeping you hidden in the dark, break the invisible chains paralyzing your spiritual progress, and fully activate the authority you have been carrying in silence. And you will do this without the constant heavy guilt, without second-guessing your calling, and without accepting this exhausting stagnation as your final destination. Many already feel they need to return to God with more strength, but haven't yet made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But beware, there are few copies left of this digital book. Do not wait for another year to pass by in the shadows before you finally decide to clear the path. Click now, download your copy, and discover why spiritual desubstruction is exactly what you need to reignite your faith, strengthen your intimacy with God, and live the spiritual transformation your soul is looking for. And as I had told you earlier, Chosen One, besides the digital book that is in the first pinned comment, there is that open voluntary donation link right below the book. I continue without receiving a single cent for every word that comes out of here for you, and even so they do not stop coming. That is why this link exists, so that another person tomorrow finds exactly this word that found you today. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any amount that your heart points to. Every such gesture keeps our channel standing and makes the next message reach whoever needs it exactly as it reached you today. I am waiting for you there at the link, once again, Chosen One. And now, with this path in your hands, the name descends. If I had given you this revelation before you had the key to walk out of the cave, the sheer weight of this secret would have only frustrated your spirit. It would have been too heavy to carry without knowing how to break the chains. But now the path is cleared, and you are ready to receive the 3 layers of the profound spiritual concealment that was taking place while you thought you were just being buried and forgotten. The first layer of this divine concealment is the veil of silence. For years you wondered why God suddenly stopped speaking loudly to you. You thought he was ignoring your desperate cries, but he was intentionally lowering his voice. He wasn't turning his back on you. He was teaching your spirit to discern his delicate whispers over the deafening, chaotic noise of your own anxiety. He had to create a vacuum of silence so you would stop depending on external validation and finally learn to tune into the internal frequency of heaven. The second layer is the shield of rejection. You spent so many nights crying over the people who walked away from you, mourning the doors that violently slammed shut in your face. But God allowed those relationships to fail to build a strict perimeter of isolation around your life. It was a high-level security protocol. He was actively removing those who would have sabotaged your next season, keeping the spies out of the camp while you were in a vulnerable state of transition. But the third layer is the actual secret God was protecting within your spirit, the hidden authority. What was being kept in the dark wasn't just a fragile blessing, it was a highly disruptive spiritual weapon. You have been carrying an intense authority that terrifies the kingdom of darkness. If this weapon had been revealed while you were still emotionally fragile, the enemy would have crushed it before it could be fully formed. The years of pain were the necessary fire required to forge a character capable of wielding this heavy authority without self-destructing. The hiding was never your punishment, it was your preservation. I see a man who understood this exact crushing weight of isolation. Moses stood on the backside of the desert, tending Jethro's flock in the wilderness of Midian, exactly as described in Exodus 3:1-3. For 40 long years, he was completely hidden in the dry dust, breathing the stale air of forgottenness, watching sheep instead of leading nations. He thought his calling was completely dead. He sat in the dirt, absolutely convinced that God had discarded him because of his past mistakes, believing he had permanently missed his window of opportunity. But that quiet, isolated desert wasn't a graveyard. It was a divine incubator. God intentionally hid him from Pharaoh's radar, keeping him completely out of sight until his spiritual character was fully formed in the dark. And that is exactly where you are right now. Moses' silent years were not a punishment, and neither are yours. God hid him in the harsh wilderness to drain the toxic influence of Egypt out of his system before he could ever trust him with the staff of authority. Your isolation was not a cruel rejection. It was the exact same divine quarantine, systematically draining the toxic attachments and the desperate need for human approval out of your spirit. And just like Moses, the season of watching sheep in the shadows is officially over. Your silent years have fully accomplished their purpose in your soul. God kept you hidden until the exact moment the appointed time arrived, and just like him, your bush is about to catch fire. And right in this moment I hear the Father saying something over you that I cannot silence. He says, "My son, I never abandoned you in the damp cave. I was sitting in the darkness with you, guarding the door so the enemy could not prematurely expose your raw authority. The painful rejection you felt was my hand shielding your unprotected back. You thought you were bleeding out from the isolation, but you were being forged in the fire of my presence. Stand up now, because the long season of hiding is entirely finished, and I am pulling you out of the shadows. Come back to me now. Breathe." There is a man who stood exactly at this crucial threshold where you are right now. He had lost his thriving business, his closest friends had scattered without explanation, and he sat in his living room for 3 long years, feeling entirely erased from God's memory. He agonized, thinking he was being punished for some hidden sin he couldn't name. But when the season finally shifted, the very isolation that almost broke his mind became the exact, unshakable foundation for a ministry that the enemy could not infiltrate. The hiding wasn't his end, it was his impenetrable armor. The deepest truth is still ahead of you, and it has your name on it. Now that you have heard the word, now that you have seen the biblical parallel, now that you finally know what has been happening in the unseen realm, I need to call you by what you truly are. You are the hidden arrow. For years you thought you were locked away and forgotten in a dusty drawer, but you were actually sitting in the quiver of the Almighty. The darkness you experienced was not a punishment. It was the intense, silent sharpening of your tip. God was carefully carving your character in the shadows so you could fly straight when the bow was finally drawn. And now, the bow is bent. You are ready to be fired directly into the enemy's camp, carrying a disruptive authority that will shatter the very structures that tried to keep you bound. You are the forged weapon. The enemy looked at the intense heat of your trials and the relentless hammering of your isolation, and he was absolutely certain you would break. He sent the crushing pressure to shatter your mind and permanently disable your spirit. But he miscalculated the material you are made of. The fire did not incinerate you, it tempered you. The pressure did not break you, it compressed your faith into an unbreakable steel. You are stepping out of the fire not as a victim of your past, but as an instrument of war completely unbroken by the pressure. You are the preserved remnant. You looked at the people walking away from you and wept, thinking you were not good enough to be chosen or loved. But God was deliberately separating you from the crowd to build a perimeter around your calling. He kept you completely safe by his own hand for this exact moment. He isolated you so the corruption, the compromise, and the spiritual decay of this generation could not infect your spirit. You were preserved in the shadows so you could step into the light fully intact. Right now, take a deep breath and feel the physical sensation in your shoulders. That lingering heaviness you have been carrying for the last few years, that is not the weight of your anxiety anymore. That is the heavy, shining armor of your new identity settling onto your frame. You are fully dressed for the battle you didn't even know you were preparing for. But what good is it to be called the forged weapon if you still cannot see the specific obstacles operating in the dark against you? Have you ever felt that, even after recognizing your true identity, there is still an invisible barrier paralyzing your spiritual progress every time you try to advance? And what if the authority you have been carrying in silence remains trapped simply because you have not yet dismantled the unseen blockages standing in your way? It was while searching for answers to this that this digital book was born, called The 27 Spiritual Obstacles That Weaken Your Walk with God. This book is not just a reading. It is an awakening designed for those who want to recognize the exact blockages that are keeping you hidden in the dark and fully activate the authority you have been carrying in silence. Many already feel they need to return to God with more strength, but haven't yet made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But beware, there are few copies left of this digital book. Do not wait for another year to pass by in the shadows before you finally decide to clear the path. Click now, download your copy, and discover why spiritual desubstruction is exactly what you need to reignite your faith, strengthen your intimacy with God, and live the spiritual transformation your soul is looking for. That frozen soil I mentioned earlier, the thick layer of dirt that made you believe you were buried alive and completely forgotten, it is beginning to violently crack open from underneath. The silent gestation in the dark is over, and the first green shoot is breaking through the ice. I promised I would come back to this. I will. But first, there is something critical you need to understand about what arrives in the next 72 hours. I said I would come back to this. Here it is. In the next 72 hours, 3 things will arrive in your life, and none of the 3 are what they seem. The enemy knows your season of hiding is over, and he is launching a highly coordinated counterattack to push you back into the shadows. The first tactic is the whisper of inadequacy. The enemy will slide into your quietest moments and tell you that you are too broken to be used. He will try to convince you that because you spent so much time in isolation, you have permanently missed your window of opportunity. He wants you to believe you have aged out of your calling. But against this lie, I hand you your first weapon, the shield of forgiven time. You must open your mouth and declare aloud that God is the redeemer of time. The years you thought the locusts ate were not wasted. They were the divine preparation of your spirit. When the whisper tells you it is too late, you raise the shield and declare that your delay was heaven's preservation. The second tactic is the mirage of nostalgia. The enemy will tempt you to look back. He will try to revive the old relationships, the toxic habits, and the comfortable cycles that God violently cut off during your divine quarantine. He will send people back into your life who look like familiar comfort, but are actually spiritual anchors designed to pull you down. Against this mirage, I hand you your second weapon, the sword of severance. You must actively block and reject any sudden return of people from your past who try to reconnect just as your season changes. You cannot bring the characters of your isolation into the theater of your manifestation. Swing the sword and cut the emotional ties to the season you are leaving behind. The third tactic is the paralysis of imposter syndrome. The moment you step into the light and begin to walk in your new mantle, the enemy will make you feel like a complete fraud. He will replay a highlight reel of your past mistakes, trying to convince you that you are not qualified to carry this heavy, disruptive authority. Against this paralysis, I hand you your third weapon, the anchor of the decree. You must stand in front of a physical mirror, look directly into your own eyes, and declare the exact identity God has just given you. You override the enemy's loud accusations with the spoken truth of the Father. You are not a fraud, you are the forged weapon, and you belong on the battlefield. But these 3 weapons are just the beginning. Chosen one, you are stepping onto an open battlefield, and there are obstacles you still cannot see. What will you do when that heavy bronze ceiling seems to block your prayers again tonight? And what will you do when a divine opportunity mysteriously slips through your fingers tomorrow morning? And how will you stand when you wake up feeling completely drained in your spirit before the next day even begins? It was while searching for answers to this that this digital book was born, called The 27 Spiritual Obstacles That Weaken Your Walk with God. This book is the exact map you need for the open field. Many already feel they need to return to God with more strength, but haven't yet made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But beware, there are few copies left of this digital book. Do not wait for another year to pass by in the shadows before you finally decide to clear the path. Click now, download your copy, and discover why spiritual desubstruction is exactly what you need to reignite your faith. Strengthen your intimacy with God and live the spiritual transformation your soul is looking for. Subscribe to this channel, not just to follow content. Subscribe so that the next word the Father has prepared for you finds you without delay. There is a sequence being released for this new season of visibility, and you will not want to miss the next threshold. Now breathe. Everything that has been delivered needs to be sealed. Wherever you are right now, do not move. Just pause for a single moment. Let the weight of everything you have heard settle completely into your spirit. If you can, close your eyes right now. Place one hand over your chest, right over your heart. Take one slow, deep breath in and let it out. Imagine you are standing in the damp, cold darkness of a deep cave. You have lived in this space for years, your eyes completely accustomed to the shadows, your lungs breathing the stale, recycled air of isolation. You have convinced yourself that this is your permanent home. But suddenly, you feel a shift in the wind. A beam of warm, golden sunlight pierces violently through the entrance, hitting your face. You hear the heavy stone that was blocking the exit grinding against the dirt, being rolled away by an unseen hand. The door is open. You take a step forward, the gravel crunching beneath your feet. As you step out of that cold darkness and into the blinding light, you look down and realize you are not stepping out empty-handed. You are walking out wearing heavy, shining armor. The hiding is officially over, and this is real. This is not just a metaphor. You are ready. I break the chains of self-doubt that have kept you paralyzed in the shadows, making you second-guess every step you try to take toward your calling. I release you from the deep trauma of the silent years and the lingering pain of the unexplained rejection you suffered in the dark. I cancel every loud lie of the enemy that tried to convince you that your best days were left behind and that your time has expired. I dismantle the unseen spiritual blockages that are still trying to keep you hidden when heaven itself is commanding you to step into the light. I call forth the hidden arrow. You have been sharpened in the absolute dark, and now you are ready to be fired with devastating precision into the enemy's camp. I call forth the forged weapon. You have been tested in the fierce fire of isolation, and you will step into this new season completely unbroken by the pressure. I call forth the preserved remnant. You have been kept safe by God's own hand, entirely protected from the corruption of this generation for this exact appointed moment. Do not say amen yet. We are not finished. Stay with me. I place a wall of fire around your mind. I decree that the whispers of inadequacy and the paralyzing anxiety of the past years will no longer have access to your thoughts. No weapon formed against your mental peace shall prosper. I place a wall of fire around your physical health. I declare the complete restoration of the energy and vitality that the long season of silent isolation drained from your bones. No weapon formed against your body shall prosper. I place a wall of fire around your family and your finances. I demand a sevenfold restoration for everything the locusts consumed while you were quarantined in the shadows. No weapon formed against your provision shall prosper. And now, I will step out of my own voice for a moment, because the Father wants to say something directly over you. He says, I saw you staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night, feeling a heavy weight on your chest, but having no words to pray. I collected every unspoken sigh that left your lips when you thought you were completely abandoned. I did not turn a blind eye when you looked in the mirror and felt entirely detached from your own life. I was the one holding you together while the old version of you was dying off to make room for the new mantle. When you sat in that crowded room feeling completely invisible, it was my hand covering you. I was intentionally hiding you in the shadows so the enemy could not track your coordinates while you were vulnerable. And every time you wept alone in your car, wiping away tears you couldn't explain, it was my spirit washing away the residual poison of your pain. You are no longer hidden, my son. Step into the light. We break the whisper of inadequacy that tries to convince you your time has passed. We sever the mirage of nostalgia, attempting to pull you back to old toxic cycles. We shatter the paralysis of imposter syndrome that questions your new authority. Hear the decree of heaven over your life right now. Let it resonate through every fiber of your being as you stand in the light. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. You are committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Do not say amen yet. Sit in this wait for one more minute, because there is one last thing that needs to be delivered. I saw you staring at the ceiling in the middle of the night, feeling a heavy weight on your chest, but having no words to pray. And what will happen when what has been sealed here is tested in the next spiritual attack? How will you protect your newly forged authority if the unseen obstacles continue to operate in your blind spot? Now think with me. Why do I still feel a lingering resistance when I try to fully step out of the cave? What if the heavy armor you are wearing becomes impossible to carry because you haven't yet removed the specific spiritual barricades designed to drag you back into the shadows? It was while seeking answers to this that this digital book was born, called The 27 Spiritual Obstacles That Weaken Your Walk with God. Many already feel that they need to return to God with more strength, but still haven't made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment. But pay attention, few copies of this digital book remain. Click now, download your copy, and discover why spiritual desubstruction is exactly what you need to reignite your faith, strengthen your intimacy with God, and live the spiritual transformation your soul is looking for. And still in this video, Chosen One, before I seal this hour with you, I come back one last time to this request. You followed with me all the way here. You crossed every word, every decree, every sign. And if at any moment of this message you felt that heaven touched you, you know this video was no accident. The voluntary donation link remains open in the first pinned comment right below the digital book. Not as a charge, not as an exchange. As the chosen ones return to the altar from which the word came, any amount your heart points to, and heaven sees every gesture. Heaven sees, and heaven multiplies over your house, over your days, over what you don't even know yet is coming. This was my last request. I'll see you there, chosen one. Somewhere else in the world, another chosen one is stepping out of the shadows, wiping away the tears of isolation, feeling the exact same shift in the spirit. You are not walking this path alone. You are part of an army waking up in the dark. Before closing this screen, send this to one specific person you know is still trapped in their own silent cave. And if he wants to go deeper, the link to the 27 spiritual obstacles is in the first pinned comment, waiting the same way it waited for you. It's not your favor, it's service, and heaven sees. Now, you may say amen, this word is complete. What was declared has been declared. What was sealed has been sealed. Walk well, chosen one.